What's going on, guys? So in this video we are going to be building a complex app using FlutterFlow. And so this video is going to be divided into three parts. We're going to be talking about app design. How exactly are we going to be building this app? What kind of functionality will the app have? What kind of things is it going to do? How we're going to connect everything? We are going to talk about the DB design, okay? And this is very, very important because FlutterFlow does not support relational databases. It supports something else. It supports something called NoSQL databases, and you really need to understand how this works. And last but not least, we're going to talk about the actual implementation of the app, connecting it to the DB, some of the gotchas, some of the things you need to look for when you are building this app, okay? Now, before we get started, if you're a fan of NoCode, if you like to learn how to write code, how to build apps without writing a single line of code, make sure you smash a like on this video, leave a comment below, and definitely subscribe to the channel so that you do not miss any future episodes. Having said that, let's get started. So this is kind of what we're going to be dealing with. We're going to be building an app that does hotel reservations, okay? And so basically, this is gonna be like booking. It's gonna be kind of like Airbnb, but similar to booking, right? And so this is the structure of the app. We're gonna be building something like a booking app, meaning that we're gonna be building an app that allows people to book hotels, okay? So on the first screen, we're gonna have a list of different hotels, list of different things that they can book, okay, with various information about the hotel. They can click on the individual hotel and they're going to be redirected to the detail page. Now on the detail page, they're going to have more information about the hotel, maybe the rating, maybe the description, maybe the neighborhood, anything that you can think of that's going to be helpful towards them actually booking the hotel. After they looked at the information about the hotel, they might have a button here where they can click in order to book the hotel, maybe enter their credit card information, send a booking request and see if the hotel is available, etc., etc. Now, we're also going to be doing reviews because every good, hotel apartment booking app has functionality for reviews because, you don't want to book something without reading and finding out about the experience of other people that may have stayed at the same hotel. So we're going to be doing this as well. And as we're building this app, we're going to be adding and removing functionality as we go along because, it's one thing to kind of structure it like this, but it's another to actually go out and build it. And when you start building it, you're going to notice, okay, I forgot this, I don't want to do this, right? It's an ongoing process, essentially, okay? But this is going to be something that we're going to be starting with, okay? The next thing that we need to do is we need to go out and build this database. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go into Firebase, Google's Firebase, and these are various tools that allow you to build out app infrastructure, improve app quality, and grow your business, but they offer like authentication, databases, and stuff like that. And the reason we're going to be using it is because FlutterFlow supports, this is one of the things that they support, right out of the box. And this is a very, very powerful thing, as you will see. So what we want to do is we want to hit create a project here. We're just going to call it Flutter app. Okay. When we type the project name, we see that there's a unique identifier that was created for the project. We're going to hit continue here. We're going to disable Google Analytics because it's not very important right now. We're going to wait until our project is created. All right, that says the new project is ready. We're going to hit continue. And once we do that, we are redirected to a dashboard for this specific project. Okay, so we have authentication, we have app check, Firestore database, real-time database extensions. We have a lot of interesting things that can be used specifically by our app. Okay. Now, there's lots of things here, and I may actually create another video and talk about all of these other things. But for the purpose of this specific video, we are going to be focusing on Firestore database, which is exactly what FlutterFlow supports, and it works really, really well with it. So we're going to go in here, and we're going to create a database. We're going to hit create a database here. we're gonna start it in test mode, okay? Just to keep things very, very simple, we're gonna choose this location here. We're gonna hit enable. All right, so we went ahead and created our database, okay? So this is our database, and if you are not familiar with how a Firebase, a Firestore database work, well, you should read the documentation from FlutterFlow, right? So if you Google for creating collections on FlutterFlow, you will see that all this information. So essentially, you have a collection. A collection is a group of documents, and a document is essentially a group of different fields. So this is a collection. These are documents. So for instance, we have a users collection, and there are 3 documents: user 1, user 2, user 3, and each document has various fields. Now, it's important to point out that unlike like a relational database where you have a schema, so you might have like a table called users, and that users has a specific schema that's fixed for all records. Here, it's very flexible. Like for instance, we have name, country, age for these 2 users, and this user has more information. So these have only these 3 fields, and this specific user has 6 fields. It's very, very flexible. As you will see shortly. So there's really good documentation here. You can kind of read more about it. Structuring your Firebase database and all that. You can kind of read more about it. But right now, what we want to do is we want to create a collection. Okay? And the collections we're going to create, the first collection is going to be called hotels. We're going to hit next. And once we do that, we need to add a first document. Okay, so I'm going to do auto ID. It just keeps things simple. And I'm going to say name for the hotel. We're not going to have a value. Description. Maybe a city. Okay, now you can do as many as you want, but I'm just going to start it very, very simple. We can even add it later, and we don't need to do anything with the app. Very, very simple. So I'm going to hit save here. And now we have a collection with 1 document. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create maybe 2 more documents, and that way we have 3 hotels. And then I'm going to do something else. So we have city. So let's do city, London. Let's do description, awesome hotel. And let's do name, Hilton. Okay, let's create 2 more documents, meaning 2 more hotels. This is going to be name. This is going to be, name is going to be Marriott. Marriott. Description is great hotel. And then city is going to be Paris. Okay, I'm just going after like the major cities. Document name is gonna be Holiday Inn. Description is going to be budget hotel. And city is going to be Madrid. Okay, so now we have 3 documents in this collection. Okay, now I mentioned that we want to do reviews. Okay, so we need to have another structure for reviews. Now this is very, very important you understand this. There's a couple of ways of doing reviews here. Reviews is essentially another collection. You can create reviews inside each of these documents, right? Because a document can have a bunch of fields or it can have multiple collections. So potentially we can do this. We can start a new collection here inside. But FlutterFlow does not support sub-collections, right? So if you go in here, you will see that creating sub-collections is not currently supported in FlutterFlow. However, anything that's possible with sub-collections can also be done using high-level collections plus references. We follow that principle as best practice internally, and it does make querying easier in FlutterFlow. So what this means is that, very important to understand, if you had created a collection inside of this document, it would be fine, but it's not going to work with FlutterFlow. FlutterFlow would not know how to access that sub-collection. So what we need to do is we need to start a new collection. We're going to call it reviews. And note, I am doing plurals. Anytime we're creating a collection, it's good practice, it's good convention to name them in plural form. So instead of like something like singular review or hotel, reviews, okay? Next, we're going to create a couple of reviews, and we're going to link them back to one of the hotels. So we have 3 hotels. One hotel is going to have like 2 reviews, and the other 2 are not going to have any reviews for now. Okay, so I'm going to say title of this review, whatever the title is, great value hotel. something like this, and description. And this could be the name of the person, city of the person, etc., etc. But for now, this is fine. So description, I had a great time staying here. Now, if you do this, we have our reviews collection, but the problem is it's not linked to anything. If we would have done this collection inside one of the hotel documents, that problem would be solved. But because we are doing it as a high-level collection, so it says here high-level collection, which means that it needs to be at the root, right? It cannot be inside. It needs to be at the root. What we need to do is we need to create another field for this review. And this field is going to be called ref, which is reference. And we're going to go down. We're going to pick reference. Now, what it's telling us, it wants a document path to whatever document that this is going to be a reference to. And before we do that, we need to go to the hotels. I pick this hotel and I come in here. And if I do this button, if I click on that pencil icon, I can edit it, but I can also copy it. And this becomes the reference. It's a reference. It's a path to a document. It's a unique identifier for a specific document. So we can go back to this review. We can add a field. I'm just going to call it reference, and I'm going to paste this here. Okay. And right now, nothing happened. It's not linking anything. It hasn't done anything. But whenever we're going to be actually getting the data for a specific hotel, we can get the specific reviews with this reference, as you will see once we actually go out and build the app. So I'm going to create another review for the Madrid hotel as well. This is going to be title is going to be not so good hotel. So somebody didn't like it, right? Description is I didn't think it was good. It was very noisy, and the service was not great. Okay, so somebody wasn't happy about it. And then we're going to create a reference here, and we're going to reference it to that hotel, to that document in the hotels collection. Hit save. And now we have 3 hotels, 3 documents, and we have 2 reviews. And the reference is the same. It's linking them back to, as you can see, it's that XZJM. And if we go in here, it's this one right here. This is the Madrid one. And as you will see, once we start building the app, it's going to work together very, very nicely. So now that we have this database created, there's a couple of things that we need to do inside the app. Okay, we're going to go back here. First, we need to create a new app. I'm just going to call it Hotels app. I'm going to hit create new. Okay, I'm going to say next step. Now it needs a Firebase project ID. And for that, you're going to go back into your project overview here, this project dashboard. You're going to come in here and you're going to go into project settings. And you're going to copy this project ID. Okay, so I'm going to go back here. I'm going to paste it. I'm going to hit connect. Okay, it's telling me FlutterFlow does not have access to this Firebase account. Please add Firebase at flutterflow.io as an editor to this project. Okay, so we need to go back here. We need to go into users and permissions, and we need to add this user. So we're going to say Firebase at flutterflow.io. Okay, I'm going to say add member, and I'm going to say editor. Okay, hit done, add member here. Okay, and it says this has been added. Now, if I go back to the app, and I say connect again, it should work now. Okay, it's connected. You see this check mark here. The next thing I need to do is I need to auto-generate config files. Okay, I need to hit that, generate file. I need to wait a little bit. Very, very important here. All right, so it says here, Firebase setup complete. Okay, I can also enable authentication. I can create a user collection. I can do a bunch of things, but these are not crucial right now for what we're doing now. I'm going to say start building. Okay, so now we are back. We're kind of inside FlutterFlow. And the next thing we need to do, we're not yet finished with the database setup. We need to go in here, this Firestore here, and we need to manually define the schema. Okay, you can define schema that mirrors your Firestore collections here. This allows you to query the data and connect it. Okay, so I'm going to create a collection called hotels. And I'm going to create another collection called reviews. What do we have here? Hotels has city description name. So we're going to go back here, city. Data type is string. This is a single element. Description is gonna be string, single element, and here we have what was that last one? Name of the name of the review. Okay, we're gonna say name. Data type is string, single element. Okay, so we are done. We need to do the same thing for reviews. And if we go in here, we have description, reference, and title. Okay, so I'm gonna do this. Description. Data type is a string, single. I'm gonna say reference. I'm just gonna say ref. And this is a record reference. A reference type. And the type is gonna be hotels. Okay, because this is a reference to the hotel. Field type is gonna be single element. Create. And what's the last one? Title. Title. Do we have title? Yeah, we have description. Title. This is going to be title. Is going to be string, single element. Okay, so we are done here. Now, before you go back to the UI, you need to go into settings and you need to hit validate. We will validate if the schema you define matches the data in the database. So I'm going to hit validate. And that way it's going to connect. It's going to check. Whatever we define in FlutterFlow is the same back in Firebase. So we need to wait a little bit. All right, so it's telling us validation status successful. So everything is perfect. It knows it. It understands the data. It validated it. So that once we start kind of referencing that data inside the app, it's going to work with the backend as well, okay? So now we can start building the app, okay? And now what you want to do is you want to create the pages first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new page. And this page is going to be, so these are kind of the pages we have. We have this home page. We have the detail. We have reviews and booking confirmation. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to say hotel detail. And it's probably a good idea to hotel detail like this. This is called a camel case. Small here, big here. This is a good convention. So hotel detail, next page is going to be reviews list. And we also have hotel confirmation or booking confirmation, something like this. All right, we got this. We can actually rename this home page to hotels list. Okay, so we have the pages created. And now we need to start displaying the data, right? So if you go to hotels list here, we've chosen hotel list. This is hotels list right here. We can change the page title. We can say, you know, hotels, which is what it is, right? It's just hotels. Yeah, hotels. Now we can go over here to the widget tree and we can actually, you know, drag a widget. We can actually drag some element, right? You can go in here. And typically what you want to do is you want to search for like a list view. You can have a list style. What we're just going to start with something very, very simple, a list view. So I'm going to drag it right here. And now we have a list. Now I like to go into the widget pane here because it makes things easier to add different text fields, because a list view is not enough. A list view is just going to get the data. We need to display the data. And so what you want to do is you want to click on this plus here and you want to search for text. Okay, so now you have a text here and you can actually duplicate it and you're going to have it too. So I actually want it to be on the same row. So for that, I'm going to search for a row. I'm going to put a row right here. So I can just do wrap widget. I can just say row, delete this row. And now we have a row with two text fields, and you can make it, you know, you can design it all you want, right? So you can just go to the row here. And on the right hand side, you can center it like this. You can do main axis alignment, cross axis alignment. You can do padding. You can do, you know, all kinds of things here. Row properties, responsive, everything. So we're not going to talk too much about design. We're going to talk about coding. Okay, so design is going to be a topic for another video. Okay, so now we have our row. We have our list, but before we can display these things, we need to configure the list. So I'm going to click on the list, and what I want to do is I'm going to go in here to the backend query. You always want to start with the backend query before you can actually display anything, right? So we're going to go in here, And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do query collection. I'm going to say hotels. That's it. We're not doing anything. We're not doing limits. We're not doing filtering. Yeah, you can hit order by and all that, but that's optional. It's up to you, obviously. Once we did that, you see it extended it now, because now we have the data. So as you can see, there's also this icon which stands for this backend. This widget contains a database request. And this is awesome because now you can see, because you can have a database request here, here, anywhere, but now you know that it's here, okay? The next thing you want to do is you want to go to one of these texts here. You want to go up and you want to go in here and you want to click set from variable, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to pick this record here. Available options, we have our records. We have city, description, name. I'm just going to say name and I'm going to hit save. Same thing here. I'm going to set from variable. Hotel record from list view, which is essentially this thing here. It understands it. We're going to come in here. I'm just going to do city. Okay, we're not going to do description, right? Description is going to be on the detail page. And so that is kind of what we have now. So now if we run the app, we should at least be displaying those three hotels? Yeah, 3 hotels here. We should be displaying the city and the name. So if we go in here, now to run it, you can just click here, or what you want to do is you want to hit test. Use test mode for faster iteration. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to hit test. And the first invocation is going to take some time, but all the subsequent runs are going to be very, very fast. So you need to wait a little bit. All right, so here's our app. And as you can see, we have 3 records. We have the name of the hotel and we have the city. It's not perfectly aligned, but it works. We're getting the right data. So the next thing that you want to do is you want to go back to the app. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that when they click on something, it's going to go to the detail page. And we want to show maybe our reviews. We want to show detail. We want to show various things. So for instance, if they click on a name, it's going to go and actually go to the detail page. But if they click on something here, so what I want to do is I want to add something here. Maybe a button or something, right? So maybe a button, icon button, right? And I want it to be right here. And this may be a button for reviews. Now, typically what you want to do is you want to show like the average reviews, right? So you're going to have another field that's going to display the average reviews. And actually we can do that very, very easily. We can do it built in. So let's remove this button and let's duplicate this text here. And now we're going to have 3. This is not going to be name. This is going to be your average review. So I'm going to go back to our database. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another field here. And this field is going to be rating. Okay, and I'm just going to define it. It's going to be number. This is going to be 10. This is going to be number. This is going to be 9. And this is going to be 8. Okay, very creative. I know. Let's say 5, 6 or something, just to spice things up. Okay, so now if you go back here, our app, we have a name here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set from variable, but we don't have it yet. We don't have it here. So what we need to do, guys, is we need to go back to this thing. We need to go to our collections, and we need to add this field here. I'm going to say this is an integer. It's going to be single. I'm going to hit create. You can actually do a validate schema if you want, but I know this is correct. It's just one field. So I'm going to go back here. And what I'm going to do is set from variable. And now we have rating. Okay, I'm going to hit save. And now it's going to display rating here. Now what's interesting is that it understands this is a number because we specified it in the schema setting. And you can format it, right? You can do percentage, you can do decimal, decimal type, you know, whatever you want. It's very, very flexible, okay? You can do currency. I'm just going to do no formatting, right? We're going to hit save. And now it's going to display the actual rating here. So if we go back to our test right here, we can do instant reload here. And here we are. Now we see the app. Now we have this thing here, this column here with the ratings. We have the cities. We have the hotel names. It's not perfectly designed. It's not perfectly aligned, but that is very, very minor and can be easily fixed. And so the next thing that we want to do, we want to come in here And we want to make sure that when they click on the rating, it's going to go and show a list of reviews for that specific hotel. And when they click on the name, it's going to go and show them a detailed stuff. And then they can also book it. So what I want to do real quick is I want to add a button here. Let's do an icon. This is going to be our booking. This is where they're going to book things here, right? So here's where you can pick an icon. So there's so many interesting things. Maybe a $sign, money. There we go. Something like this. Okay. Or yeah. So that's the best icon I can come up with. We'll just make it red. And it's going to be a dollar icon where if they click on it, they can book it, they can confirm it and stuff like that. So now let's start with what I believe is one of the trickiest things here in FlutterFlow and FireDB. Okay, when we click on this, what you guys want to do is you want to come in here and you want to create an action. Okay, we're going to say add an action. We're going to say on tap. We're going to scroll through. We're going to say navigate to, and we're going to do reviews list. Okay, now we need to pass a parameter. Okay, we need to pass something. What are we going to be passing? We are going to be passing a reference to this document, to the hotel document. Okay, but before we can do that, we need to define this parameter on this reviews list. Okay, so we're going to say add a parameter here, and we're just going to say hotel doc ref. This is hotel doc reference. Okay. Type is going to be record reference. Record type is hotels. Okay, it needs to understand that so that it can, do it correctly. It can show you the right options. So now we're passing this parameter here. Now we can say pass, and we're passing this parameter, and we define that parameter on the receiving page. Now it knows the name because that's what the receiving page understands. And now we need to set the source. The source is going to be this hotel record. This record right here, available options, reference. And so we're not passing the record, we're passing the reference to the record. And this is very, very important, as you will see. Now, when they click on it, it's gonna go to the it's gonna go to this page right here, reviews list, and now we can start working on this page. So we wanna do the same thing. We wanna come in here, we have a list, we have a list view. What we want to do is we want to come in here, hierarchy, and we want to add a row. And on the row, we want to add a bunch of text, some more text. And yeah, that's it. Just two texts, right? What are the reviews? Actually, we want to go to the row. We want to align it. Yeah, something like this. Yeah, this looks nice. And what do we have for the reviews? We're going to go back. And on the reviews, we have description and title. The reference is internal use only. We're not going to be displaying that anywhere. Yeah, description and title. So yeah, we're going to be displaying these things here. We're going to go back here. We're going to come in here. So first we need to go to the list view. And we only need to display reviews for that hotel with the reference. Here we are on the reviews page. Let's say you want to display the name of the hotel here, okay? Which is kind of normal. Before you can do it, you need to pull the record linked to that reference. We're not passing the record, we're passing the reference. So for that, you need to come in here, right? And you need to do document from reference. The record is a document, essentially. And you need to say hotels. Source is going to be our parameter, hotel.ref, hotel document reference. We're going to hit save. Once you did that, you can go back here and you can, this text widget here, you can say, right here, you can say set from variable. Source is hotel's record now, okay? Because we got the record, we got the document, and we're going to say name, okay? Now we got from the reference, we got the actual document, and from the document we got the name. Okay, so this is done. Next, we want to go to the list view, and we want to go in here, and you want to run a query. Okay, you want to run a query for reviews where that reference is set, the one we're passing. So we want to do a query collection for reviews, and we want to do a filter where ref, right, is this ref right here. This is the ref. We're doing all the reviews where the reference is what we passed from the other page. Okay, you got to do it correctly. So we're going to go back here and we're going to say ref equals to from variable source hotel.ref. Okay? And now we're going to get just the reviews that match the reference that we initially sent over as a parameter. And now we have the data here, we have the data here. Now we can start working with the actual values, okay? We're going to set from variable, we're going to say source reviews record, and we're going to say, what is this, title and description. And then set from variable, we're going to say reviews record, description. Save. That is the way you do it, because it does not support sub-collections. It would have been easier with sub-collections, but there are also advantages to doing it with high-level collections instead of having sub-collections. There are many, many advantages. But that's kind of the beauty of NoSQL type database like Firebase, is that you can do it so many ways, okay? So we're going to go back here and we are going to run it. This is going to display the name of the hotel. We can also do something interesting, right? We can go in here, we can say set from variable, and we can say combined text. So we can say something like, this is text 1, we can say reviews for, and we can do another text, and text 2 is going to be specific value from variable hotels record, and it's going to be name. So now it's going to say reviews for whatever, right? So we're going to go in here. This is text combination, text 2, hotels, yeah. So it's going to say reviews for whatever the record from this text, this thing here. You know, we pull this data, we have name here, okay? So you can do text. And you can do more and more and all these things. And so now if we run it, hopefully it's going to do it correctly. We're going to go back in here, we're going to do instant reload, and we're going to see what the app is doing. Now here's the app, and if we click on the Madrid one, the Holiday Inn, which is where the reviews are. So if we go back here, you can see we have reviews for, this is this reference XZ, and you have it for Madrid Holiday Inn. So if we go back to the app here, and we hit on this, you have the reviews here, okay? It has a couple of warnings there, but that's fine. It has the name, the title of the review, and the description. And if we go back and we hit on this, there's no reviews. And as you can see, it says reviews for Marriott. And here it says reviews for Hilton. And here it says reviews for Holiday Inn. Now, the other thing that we can do is we can create a back button here. Let's do that real quick. So we can just simply go in here. And we can create a back button. So this is our reviews list here, as you can see. We can just go in here. We can click on this. And this is going to create a back button. It can do it actually like this. Okay, so it actually replaced it, which is fine. We can fix that again. We can do combined text, reviews for, plus text. Text 2 is going to be from variable. We're going to get it from the reference. From variable source is going to be this. We're going to say name. Okay, save. Now it's going to say reviews for, and we have a back button. We can click on this, go in here, add an action, scroll down and say navigate back. And once we do that, you're gonna see this little action thing here. And that way you know this has an action. And this thing, you know, it has a database request, which is these things here. Okay, very, very useful. We also have animations there as well, but that's probably going to be a topic for another video. And so now we have the back button. We have the reviews. The only thing that's left to do is to create the detail page and create the confirmation page. So we're going to go here to the detail page here. Hotels detail. We're going to change this thing with a back button here. Let's do actually this one. I really like it. And we're going to do the same thing. We need to configure. So if you go in here, you want to go to the hotel detail here. And what you want to do is you want to go to the database and you want to get the hotel information. So we're going to say document from reference, and it's going to be a hotel and source. So we don't have the parameter because the parameter is not defined. So we're going to go in here. Actually, what you can do is There's a better way of doing it. You can go to hotel list, and then if they click on name, for instance, right? Let's say name, it's gonna have city. Well, it should be the other way around. Let's do name here, and then city here. All right, and then we're gonna go in here. We are gonna say, we're gonna have an action, and we are gonna redirect, navigate to description, hotel detail, and then we can define a parameter right here. So we're gonna say add a parameter. Parameter is gonna be hotel doc ref, and the type is gonna be a record reference. A record type is gonna be hotel. Hit save. Okay, so now it has a parameter. Now we can pass the parameter. It goes back to the hotel list, and we're gonna say pass. Click on pass. We're gonna pass this parameter. We're gonna say source, and we're gonna say hotels record available option reference. Okay, because it understands there's always a reference. It's this kind of an internal setting, internal property. Okay, so now we have the reference. We are good. We're gonna go back to hotel detail, and this is where we can, drag different elements. So I'm gonna leave the design up to you. I'm gonna go drag a. We have a column here. You want to do maybe a text here, maybe a row. Let's do a row first. Let's do it here. Let's delete this. Let's do a text. And you can do a container and all that. And let's do a couple of text. Let's do another row. Column, let's do another row. And this thing is going to have another text. Okay. So here we might have like a name. This could be a description. So I'm going to say, so as you can see, I want to set it from variable. But I see that we never got the data. Okay, so we need to get the data. I'm going to go to hotel detail, and I'm going to get the data. So we're going to say document from reference. We're going to say collection hotels. Source is going to be this thing here, and that's it. And now we're going to get that document. Now I see it. That's how awesome it is. That's how useful it is. And now I can go back to the field, and I can set it from variable. Because if I didn't have this, if I didn't get the data, I cannot set it from variable. So I'm going to come in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say the source. The source, we have the record because we got it right here. So I'm going to say hotels record, and the options are name, save, and same thing here, set from variable, hotel record, description. Okay, and you can do more as you wish. Let's take a look at this button. And I know right away that this button, this thing here, there's no icon button, doesn't have any logic to it, right? Doesn't have any action. So we're gonna come in here, add an action, on tap, navigate back. Okay, and now it has that action. Now I know I don't need to go and search for it and go to the properties because I see it right here. So now this thing has a bunch of information here. And the other thing that you can do is you can add another row. Okay, so you want to add another row here, actually to the column. Okay, so now I have another row. I can add a button here. And this button could be like book. So I can actually center it. I can actually center the row here. Something like this. And this button, I can obviously change it, change how it looks, and I can say book. And what's this gonna do is once you click on it, right? This button, it's going to redirect to the booking page. So we're going to add an action. We're going to say untap, navigate to hotel booking confirmation. Okay. So there you have it. Now you can go to detail, you have book, and it's going to redirect to the booking confirmation, and then it's going to display something. So that is kind of what we have here. And if we go back to our pages and I go to the confirmation, we're going to change this out. This looks good. It's also going to pass the hotel reference, right? So I'm going to go to hotel detail. I'm going to say book, and it's going to have a parameter, right? This is this navigation. I'm going to say define. I'm going to say add a parameter. Parameter name is, again, hotel doc ref. And you want to make sure it's the same everywhere, just to keep that consistency. And we're going to say record reference, and it already knows hotels. And now if we go back, we hit pass, and we're going to go in here, and we're going to say hotel's record, and it knows it's a reference. Okay, so now it's going to pass a reference. And now the same thing we need to do. We need to go to the booking. We're going to click here. Actually, we're going to go in here. We're going to click on this thing, this top level page. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say document from reference. I'm going to say hotels. And this is going to be this thing right here, our parameter that we're being passed. And now everything on this page, it knows what the hotel name, city, etc., etc. Now you can just, do whatever you want. So we have a column. I'm just going to, drag a text. And this text set from variable is going to be, we have the record here. I'm just going to say like name. Okay, we just display the hotel name so that it makes sense. And there you go, right? There you go, right? So you see the icon. Oh, the icon is not, it doesn't have any logic to it. So I'm going to go in here, add an action, and I'm going to say navigate back. Okay, so now it has an action. So now if we go back here, we have all the pages. We have list, we have detail, it's going to display that. The page title, we can change it. We can say hotel record, and I'm going to say name, hotel name. And obviously you can do, hotel name is actually fine. You don't need any kind of text concatenation or anything like that. You don't need to combine text here. That's kind of what we have. We have this, we have reviews, and then we have hotel booking confirmation. We can say booking page, booking, or whatever, booking for or whatever, booking confirmation. There you go. All right, so that's kind of what we have. And now we have an app that does a lot of things. Right? It does a ton of things. Now, guys, if you want to do booking, right? So let's say that you want to book, you can add a button here. Just go in here. You can go in here and you can just add a button. And this button is going to say, we can center it. You can center, you can align the column. You can actually add a row here. Actually, what you want to do is you want to go to the button and you want to do wrap widget, and you can do row. Okay, and this row, you can center it. Something like this, okay? And this button here, you can do a lot of interesting things. So for instance, you can do a query type, you can do an API call, you can configure all your calls. This is something I'm going to be covering in the future videos, the API stuff. I figured this is a really good idea to cover the database stuff because that's very, very complex. But the API to book a hotel, to get data from a third party, I'm going to be doing that in the next video. Hit a like on this video if you want to see more information about kind of API calls and a lot of other things. And definitely leave a comment below if that's what you're interested in. So we're not going to have anything here. And that's kind of what we have. So let's run the app. Let's see if it works. Let's see if there are any issues, quirks, or anything like that. And then we can go from there. All right, so here we have the app. And so if you click on this, there are no reviews. We can go back. If you click on this, no reviews. But if you click on this, you're going to have your 2 reviews. Now, you can click on the name of the hotel, and here we are on the detail page. It says Hilton Awesome Hotel, Marriott Great Hotel, and Holiday Inn Budget Hotel, right? This is the data that we have. Now, if you go in here, if you hit book, it redirects to booking confirmation, okay? So, it shows the name of the hotel. And it gives you an option to book. Okay, so if I hit book, it shows the name of the hotel. Now, one thing that's very interesting that I wanted to show you guys is that this is like a real-time database. So if I go back to my backend here and I change city from Madrid to Lisbon, it's gonna update everywhere. So if I go in here, you see it's automatically updated to Lisbon. This is real-time. It's it makes changes immediately, right? So if I change Lisbon here to let's say, I don't know, Washington DC, I go back and we have Washington DC. So this is a really, really nice feature, and you don't need to refresh, you don't need to do anything. It's automatic. Your user sees new data automatically. It's that awesome. And so this is kind of the beginning of our app. Also, we can create an action on this that does the same thing, except it's going to do it in one step, which is the same thing. But that's going to be an exercise for probably for the future video. And that's all that I wanted to show you guys in today's video. There's lots of moving pieces, and you really need to make sure you design your database, your structure correctly, because FlutterFlow does not support sub-collections, right? Accessing, creating sub-collections is not currently supported. And so they're saying to create high-level collections. So if you do if you create a collection here, it's gonna be very, very difficult to kind of work with it. So that is the way you wanna do it. And this is a really, really solid way because you can scale it very, very far. So I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial, this video. If you did, I would highly, highly appreciate a like on this video, leave a comment below, and that lets me know that you guys want to see more advanced videos, more complicated topics, more solutions to various problems using the no-code technology. So let me know in the comments below what kind of video you want to see next, what kind of tool do you want me to talk about next, so that I have ideas for future videos. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.